Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News.
In the studio with us now is Honorable Segun Adesegun, former Deputy Governor of Ogun State.
Good morning,
You're welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me too.
Okay, so you know the crisis in Ogun State, we want to really talk about that. You know, we've heard so much about that crisis where the governor is alleging that the cabal from Lagos fraudulently wrote the results of the elections. And, you know, the National Committee is insisting that the governor was just trying to circumvent the laid down rules for proper primaries. What's really going on? What really happened, in your opinion?
Well, naturally in politics, there will be disputations, especially at the time of primaries. But the unfortunate situation in Ogun State as at now cannot actually be called a crisis because in a crisis, the center can no longer hold. However, there is need to provide some information as guidelines. There had been a mooted position from the governor before. But by the time of the primaries, the National Working Committee of our party, APC, did allow the body to go direct or indirect. It was the National Executive Committee of the party that met. And the composition of the National Executive Committee is the National Working Committee, the governors, president, vice president, and some other senators. So it's about the most important organ, if not the most senior organ of the body, of the party. And it did conclude that each of the states had the need to choose what they wanted. Ordinarily, I had been in the I'd worked in the National Committee of the party before the APC. And I know in most cases, the party would just roll down the guidelines and send it to the body. But in this case, the party is magnanimous by allowing debates, whether direct or indirect. And so, the governor, based on that decision, now invited the stakeholders. The stakeholders will be the party, former governors, former deputy governors, serving honorables, and the host like that. And so in Ogun State, we met. When we met, the governor rolled out the position and we were to take a decision. We took the decision that we will be going direct. At that meeting, the governor also told us we should not worry about the Jebus or Ogun East contesting and that it had been zoned to Ogun West. We did disagree with him on that very day, but we felt not such issues could be discussed in the public. So we adjourned the meeting so that we could meet behind the scene and get things straightened out. When we met, we did discuss those issues, but we agreed that we would meet again. This never took place. On that very day, we took the decision also that we'll be going direct. In actual fact, a lot of people are even getting this direct or indirect thing wrong. What they mean by direct primaries is that we'll go to our different wards, there will be election, people will queue and choose a candidate. In the indirect system, it's a little bit cumbersome, but you must also vote. But when you meet in the indirect system, you are going to nominate delegates that would have been approved by the National Executive Committee. It is these delegates that will later meet to vote for whoever. So it's like another step. Yeah. And I mean, there's no party right now that will want to go through all those org because it will involve another primary calling people. So the direct system, if you fail the direct system, you cannot pass the indirect system. But we did agree that we were going to have the direct, which was what we said. But
the situation we have now with the APC in Ogun State is like we have two candidates, more or less, or two factions. Yes. You have on one hand, Dr. Abiodun, who is the person accepted by the National Committee of the party. And then you have the governor insisting that no matter what happens, it will be Honorable Akinlade. And the governor is insisting that, look, this is conspiracy against him, against the state, by Oshiomhole, the National Party chairman, Asiwaju Tinubu, and former governor Aremo Olusegun Oshoba. What do you think is likely to happen?
Well, it still stays into the initial one I was talking about, because now that we agreed that it was going to be direct, any other decision will no longer be relevant. And maybe I can make some corrections. There are no factions. It's just people self-positioning themselves, which is natural.
Will the governor still be positioning himself? I mean, he's not going to contest as governor again.
Incidentally, you see, to understand the crisis in Ogun State, you need to ask some questions. What does the party constitution say? For example, I can give you an example. It was the governor of the state who considered the State Independent Electoral Commission for elections into the local government. When elections were conducted in Ogun State, did any other body come and announce results? It was that very body that the governor gave the power to INEC, state INEC. But it was not the governor or a nominee of the governor that had the power to do it. It was the state INEC, which the governor himself considered. In the same mutatis mutandi, in the national, the governor is part of the National Executive Committee, which gave guidelines and rules for procedures in the primaries. The moment that body took place, set the guidelines, no other person on earth is competent to discharge other duties except the National Working Committee of the party. This is very important. And the National Working Committee of the party sent a body down to come and conduct elections. It is the result of that body that is valid, irrespective of whatever anybody says, irrespective of that.
Maybe I should rephrase it. Yeah. The governor is insisting that that slot, the next governor of Ogun State, has been zoned to Yewa. And any other person laying claim to that position will not be accepted by him. And the Yewa people also were looking forward to the possibility of a Yewa person emerging as governor, because the Yewas have never been allowed to take that position of governor. So don't you think that, well, the governor is fighting a worthy cause, and that, you know, the Yewa people may be marginalized?
Yeah, thank you for that question, but the premises is not the same thing. Everybody, when you're asking for something in politics, you back it up with reasons and arguments. The governor, the first question is the governor competent to zone? The governor is the governor of the state for all. He is not competent to come on here, and it has never happened. But he did come on here to say he was for Yewa. But the question is this: there are 3 senatorial districts, but that does not mean that is the kernel on which Ogun State sits. The kernel on which Ogun State sits and the governance system of Ogun State is based on 4 divisions. And these 4 divisions have 2 potentates. For example, when Ogun State came together, it was the Ijebu province and Egba province. That's how Ogun State was created. The Ijebu province is made up of the Ijebus and the Remos. The Egba province is made up of Egba and Egbado. That Egbado later changed to Yewa. I served that in Ogun State as commissioner. When we were in government, if you want to build something to one division, you must build to all the other 3. So 4 divisions, that's the kernel on which governance is in Ogun State. Even the overship that we have, they rotate in those divisions. So it is wrong for someone to come up and say a senatorial district. It was just convenience. That, for example, Ogun State was not with 4 senatorial districts. We had about 4 or 5 senatorial districts before. And this present constitution collapsed it to 3. When the collapse came, Ijebu and Remo were collapsed into 1. But that does not mean we lose our identity.
Anyway, I know you are a supporter of Dapo Abiodun. Yes. 2 questions with regard to Dapo Abiodun. He is from Remo. Governor Daniel, who was governor before Amosun, also came from Remo. Now, the question some people are asking is, can Remo again almost immediately present a candidate and expect to win? And then with this division in the APC, do you see Dapo Abiodun standing any chance?
Well, there's no division in APC. Like I said, it's self-positioning. I'm insisting.
The governor is protesting every day. No. His SSG has gone on there to protest. Statements are being issued. There is a division.
Tendacious positions That's what I want to call it. It's not a division, because you want to make sure your side wins. For example, in Ogun State as at now, we see each other, we play with each other. That does not mean we do not disagree. And like I said earlier on, in politics, it's all about disputations, which we must conclude about. And the party, the National Working Committee, when it takes a position, for any good party member, you have to go with the position of the party. It's not a question of whether you like it or not. And that is a point that is very important about individualizing. The governor is the governor of the state about governance. The governor cannot be the governor of the state and also speak on party issues. He can contribute, but they cannot say his position is overwhelming to all others.
Well, Amosu is also the leader of the party in the state, isn't
There's
he?
nowhere in the constitution of APC that you find the governor as the leader of the party. I can tell you that.
Comment on Dapo Abiodun's chances and the fact that he's from Remo.
I mean, the issue of where one comes up does not actually matter. But at times, within the party system, they could try to smoothen positions. Like I was telling you before, I mean, to say that the Yewas have not had the governorship position before is correct. But we have a premises. Those of us also from Ijebu and Remo, we know that, for example, I come from the inner core of the Ijebus, and that's where Chief Olabisi Onabanjo came from. Nobody at our own side has ever contested the governor since Olabisi Onabanjo was governor since 1981. And it's not that we are stupid, but we just want things to be fair. But our argument is that when you want to rotate, you must rotate based on how we met, not recent happenings. Because the fact that you are a man and you now cut your head like a woman does not make you a woman. In Ogun State, we are two provinces. If you want to zone, you must move from one to the other. Allow that body to go and decide who they want. In Nigeria as of now, the amalgamation was Southern and Northern Protectorate. Irrespective of the zones that we have now, nobody will say after Buhari has become if he wins, and I guess he's naturally going to win for the presidency, that will be the second term. You will not say, now that he has won, it will now go to Northeast, it will now go to North-North. No, it must come to the South. So that's the position we are saying. And people should understand that. It's not that we are friends, but when it comes to disputations, you have to argue that we are talking politics, we're not talking government. If it is government, whatever the governor says is final. But we are talking politics, the essence of which we are together. He must take his position, we must take our position. And it is the decision that is finally taken that should be abiding on all of us.
Are you on Dapo Abiodun's side? Because you have,
I even stepped down
you have disagreements with the governor?
No, I mean, we disagree when I was with him. And
you were his deputy.
I was his deputy.
And for the second time,
I didn't go for the second time.
to choose somebody else.
In fact, I walked out of the position. It was not even a question that we fought. But we have smoothed all that out. But that does not change who I am. The governor is an Egba person. I am an Ijebu person. He should speak for Egbas when it comes to politics. I'm not talking government. And we will speak also for Ijebu what we want. Our decision is that we want also to be part of the slot because the Ijebus had it. It went to the Egbas, it came to Ijebu, it went to Egbas and their province. Whoever takes it is irrelevant to us.
You know, other stakeholders in Ogun State will not agree with you that Ogun State is made up of Egbas and Ijebus and some other provinces. The Aworis are asking for their own rights. They are right to be part of the game. The Yewas are saying they are independent. Yes. In fact, it was because of this that they decided to change their identity. Okay?
That's what I'm telling you. Yes. That's what I'm telling you. The fact that you were born a man and you change your haircut does not make you a female. It does not make you female. We know where we met. We know how we came together. And this is not to deride the smaller groups. Everybody has a sense of belonging. But our point is that before you take a decision, we must sit down together.
But do you see the APC winning the gubernatorial election if the governor, who is the incumbent governor, decides to withhold the structures or play neutral? There
is no reason why the governor will withhold the structure or play neutral. He's also a party man. He's not new to this thing. By the time he became the governor first instance, I was in the party. We know how he got to that position. Some people also were left in the lodge, and he got it. And he has used the vehicle of the party to win elections. So I can't see him dumping the vehicle and saying because his man is not. I mean, it's not a thing of ego. It's just that we need when we dispute, we come to resolve.
Okay, you have not answered his question. What's your take on Dapo Abiodun? What do you...
Dapo Abiodun, I mean, my first take is that, I mean, he is also from my own senatorial district. In our own senatorial district, we are about 5 who came out to contest. Me too, I said I wanted to be the governor. And at the meeting when we had with the governor, when he now insisted that, I mean, he had already talked to the Yewas would be one. Our own people also called us back home and asked that they did not want so many candidates, that we should talk to each other and step down. That was why I unilaterally stepped down for Dapo. And I stepped down because his goal and vision, he was talking about a responsible civil service system. He was also talking of efficiency in the civil service. He was talking about gratuities. He was telling us things that I feel, with him in a position, I'm good. He also adopted some positions about moving Ogun State forward, capital development, ease of getting projects into Ogun State. And one very important thing is that he mentioned something which was very important to me, that Ogun State is going to benefit from the influx of people from Lagos State, because Ogun State envelopes Lagos State, and that he is going to use his entrepreneurial ability to make sure the economic wealth of Ogun State is improved.
So what's the story? People are saying that the primaries that held on October 2nd, he was nowhere to be found. What's the real story behind that?
Who was nowhere to be found?
Dapo Abiodun.
That's not correct.
That's what people are, that's what the reports are saying.
I mean, that's why I don't listen to reports. I like to listen to those who are on the spot. I mean, everybody knew that the governor's side, they had their own primary. It was the chairman of the party in the state that announced it. Is there anywhere in the constitution of APC that allowed the governor to compose his own electoral committee for nominations? None.
But you see, this crisis in the APC is nationwide. Why is it so difficult for the All Progressives Congress to just organize party primaries? Because even now, the chairman of the party, the national chairman, is fighting for his position because signatures are being collected to have him removed on the basis of the crisis emerging out of the primaries nationwide.
You see, one thing I can say is that, like I said, in the ACN, I was an assistant national treasurer. I had been national youth leader for so many years, and we had been involved in primaries. Primaries, naturally, there are a lot of disputations. Self-position is everybody wanting to maneuver, whether they like it or not. So at the end of the day, whoever comes out, he is not a friend of the other side. And the other side will think he got there because of some hanky-panky. This is the standard procedure. And it's unfortunate that in Africa, we have not learned that we cannot win at all times. I mean, it's the same thing all over. Any party is because of our... I think, may I say that we put too much ego into ourselves. Nothing wrong in having your ego, but you think because I'm a senator, anything I say must be final, because I'm a national officer, because I'm a governor, anything I say. No, when it comes to party, there are a lot of people involved. Nobody is an island. This is what we have to learn. For example, I'm also in the senatorial race. My party, whatever it comes up with, for me or against me, as a party man, the important thing is to move forward, because the party is the vehicle that we need. It's the most important thing. We should not allow the party to be in shambles.
The Economist, the intelligence unit of the Economist magazine just came up with another report saying that they don't see President Buhari winning in 2019. And they are predicting that Atiku Abubakar of the PDP is likely to emerge as president. Before the EIU, this is the second time the EIU is saying that. Before the EIU, we also had a similar report from the HSBC Securities. Now, there seems to be a growing international consensus that the APC doesn't deserve another term and President Buhari doesn't deserve another term. Why should we think otherwise?
Well, why we should think otherwise is that within, I mean, like, I think it was William Wordsworth, one poet. He said, at any given time, whatever is best done is the best. For the present situation in Nigeria, I think Buhari has done his best. And it's not about what the international bodies feel. It is what...
No, these are analysts making projections,
yes,
making predictions, and offering advice to investors and other stakeholders.
Yes, I am aware. Ditto also in the American presidential system. There were so many projections that Hillary Clinton would win, and she did not win. So what I'm saying is, I do not want to get myself too involved in projections. My duty as a party member is to make sure I sell APC to whoever wants to vote, to make sure APC wins. And my duty is to make sure General Buhari, our candidate for the presidency, wins. So how to go about it is my internal thinking. And I know I can marshal enough points, convince a lot of people, which is the work of everybody. And in an election period, a lot of people will have so many projections. But when you have your own ace, you keep your ace and make sure you work on it so that you get your results.
Well, I mean, you've been talking about the party, the position of the party, the position. Is it that when people say, I'm a loyal party man, and this, it doesn't create room for difference, for
You see,
people to make different choices?
No, it creates room, but to found a party is such an important thing, and it's too involving. It's not, I mean, you find so many crash parties overnight on people who have parties, but a real party to found it is so involving. You need to get people of like minds. Even despite all that, you still flounder. So when you have a party, the duty of any good party member is to make sure you keep it.
But when you talk about the supremacy of the party, will you be saying indirectly that what happened in Lagos and the incumbent governor was denied a chance to run for a second term because some people don't like his face? Will you say that's how the party should operate?
Well, the people who like his face in bringing him in there are also very important. So if today they don't like his face and he has to go, there's nothing anybody can do. Some people brought him there. This is the point I'm trying to make. You see, we need to learn something about democracy and party system and the presidential system. The presidential system gives so much power to individuals that, unknown to them, it can even be abused. And let me go into one other area. You see, unfortunately for us in Africa and Nigeria, we just chose the presidential system of government without the necessary checks, which America has.
Okay.
And that is why when a man at the helm is making a mistake, he doesn't know until the mistake becomes difficult for him to manage. For example, right now in America, there is going to be election. This midterm election we don't have in Nigeria. The midterm election is a result of the performance of the presidency. So by the time this result comes out, the president will adjust. If he does not adjust, his party will go out to make sure they nail him down. But in Nigeria, it is after 4 years that you will know whether you are right or wrong. Everybody may be keeping silent. If in Lagos State, if we have that kind of system in which the governor can sound out people and he gets their feelings, maybe a governor may not make mistakes. I'm not saying he made mistakes, but I know those who worked for him, most of them are not for him this time around. That's an important thing. And I'm very happy the way things are going in Lagos. The governor definitely is a good party member too. He will bounce back if he uses the system that has brought him there. But the truth is just that we have to know that that position, you are holding it in trust as a servant. It does not mean you are the boss of everybody. Because the party system...
Holding it in trust for the Godfather?
No, holding it in trust for the people. Holding it in trust for the people through the politicians who are involved. Through the politicians who are involved.
But in his own case in Lagos, he seems to have offended the Godfather.
Then that is what people say, but that's not the issue. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. I mean...
So where do you think that he has failed?
I am not a Lagosian. I'm from Ogun. But
well, I know that you know
but I saw when the governorship candidate of Lagos State, when he was being introduced, I saw the party members that were with him. These are the party members that I have known for over 20 years. All of them signing his papers. It means something is not right somewhere. Because these were the very same people who also signed for the governor when he was an accountant.
Well, let me take you back to Ogun State, which is your state.
That's right.
How do you think the problem within the party, within the APC in Ogun State, will be resolved. Because the governor is really resolute that this time around, it must be his candidate. A statement was even issued to that effect.
Thank you, Mr. Bati. Must a governor be resolute that your candidate must be the person to win? I just see it as the governor maybe is just making sure he satisfies all tendencies. You cannot say your candidate must win. Our candidate must win. Our candidate must win. So that is, in that light, that's my conclusion. All of us will still come together. Whether we like it or not, we are APC. The governor also is APC.
Is there any attempt being made not to accept Abiodun's candidature? Or you are just saying, well, this is what the party has decided. Whether he likes it or not, he has to live with it.
No, the party has done quite a lot of things to balance things amongst all of us. Sharing of positions, discussions, which the governor cannot say he does not know about. Well, you see, it is unfortunate that most of these issues are externalized. And the reasoning behind it is because the governor that is involved is a public person, and anything he says will be. Most of the times, these things are not seen in the public or heard, because it's very important for any good party member to discuss the issues. And while I'm speaking with you today, there is a lot of restraint on my side not to mention some issues because it is my party. I won't want to say things which at the end of the day will be used against my party or which will cause more friction in the party. And that's the tendency.
Yeah, I see you've been restraining yourself from directly attacking Governor Amosu.
I must not, he's my governor. Irrespective of whatever position I have, I cannot say it's not my governor. The governor of my state. And all of us will have a lot of ego. If I see him, I must go to him and say, my governor, it went wrong. But that does not mean when we come into the party system, we will not disagree. This is the point I'm trying to say.
Well, as an APC member, the PDP at the national level seems to be bouncing back. That's the perception out there. And, people also say, oh, the PDP has a very strong ticket, Atiku and Peter Obi. Yeah. Do you have your fears, your anxieties, that because of the strength of that ticket, the Buhari or Shimbajo ticket, with all the issues on the ground, could fail, and Atiku and Peter Obi will take the prize in 2019?
Talking truth and reality, is there any politician going towards the election that will not have anxiety? Is that they clone it or...
But what's your assessment of that ticket?
The assessment of that ticket?
It looks stronger than your party's ticket.
Why would I say that?
Okay, what's your assessment?
My assessment is that the two of them, Atiku and Obi, they are good people. They are politicians. They are going to meet our own too. And the rule of the game is getting more votes, garner what you can.
No, I'm not talking about votes. I'm saying assess the two sides.
Oh,
not from a non-partisan, an intellectual assessment.
Yeah. This is not a forum for intellectual assessment. I am a party member. You see, I see the point you are trying to make, but nothing here now. For me as a party man, I know the manifesto of my party. I joined it because I like the manifesto. I want that manifesto to sink through Nigeria so that Nigeria can be a better place. So it is the man who comes up in my party, irrespective of whether I like the other person. It is that man that comes through that channel that I'm going to support.
So are you in the stance that there are no crises within the APC? I believe we had a guest here yesterday.
Yes, we have mentioned this thing because, we outsiders call it crisis, but we call it disputations, contestations, because it is about primaries.
Do you think Oshomole is handling the crisis properly?
Yeah, there's nothing he can do. When the issues come, like, for example, I must tell you that in Ogun State, when these problems arose, the governor went and said they should give him the senatorial, they should give him... So the party will now meet to discuss and have the best in managing it.
It's like whatever we say, you just say as a party man, this is where you stand.
Yeah, but if you ask other issues which are not political, I can give you a fair view of them. But presently, you see, maybe there is a need for people to be matured about politics in Nigeria. You are not so, even when you win election, it is not for you, it is for the party. You have to go there and carry out the manifestos of the party. You should not be talking of my government. It is the party, actually. Strictly, this is the way it is. I mean, I had opportunity of watching during the time of UPN, the 4 cardinal programs. No other person talks of other things other than you can have. But it is the party program that you need to adumbrate to the public.
Anyway, one final question before we let you go. Yeah. Do you think that the Buhari government has been able to deliver on its promise? Security, economy, fight against corruption, and all the other things that the government promised.
You don't need to like Buhari before you conclude that he has done his best, especially in the areas of corruption. But is his best good enough for Nigerians? For now, I think anybody who is starting on eradication of corruption, by the way, the word corruption is virtually all over the world. But it is endemic in Nigeria because people do it brazenly. Even this thing we call corruption in Nigeria has become what I would call thievery to the highest level. But it is when his government came into position that you are now getting people who are being booked, those who are going to jail. And the procedure, before it catches in, still needs some period of learning. And these people who are involved in corruption also would like to fight back. But one thing I notice is that for those who travel out, when you meet important elements outside Nigeria, they always wonder why Nigeria is so roguish. If we can do our best in making sure we curtail corruption, the money that is going to be freed there can be used in other areas, health sector, transportation and all that. So our problem about corruption is exactly the thing that is affecting Nigeria. And anybody who is solving it is on the right path, irrespective of whatever anybody could think. I'm not talking about transportation, I'm not talking about qualitative education, all this, that. And in any case, the most important thing is the civil service, the public service system, because it is the public service that drives whatever policy a governor, a president has. But it is the president that will dovetail into the important areas that has to be touched. I think Buhari has done very well in those areas.
Watch. Nigeria has become a land of extreme poverty.
We're actually currently under a civil war with the Boko Haram issues and the herdsmen
issues. But these were issues he met. And cannot be solved one day.
They got worse under his watch.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's worse under his watch. Because you are comparing based on theory. If it were to be Jonathan, maybe Nigeria would even have collapsed by now.
Security issues?
Security issues.
Fulani herdsmen and farmers?
The Fulani herdsmen are issues that has to be looked into more. But the important thing is that, is he doing something about it? Is he like Adesegun? But from the text I could pick around, he's doing something about it. You see, the point that has to be noted also is that governance is about issues that come up at any given time. Anybody who is there will have something to tackle with. So if, as at now, Boko Haram has not been subjugated completely, it means we need more work. But the important thing for me is the indices, whether action is being taken, whether we are seeing the tendencies. The moment we see this, I will love him to continue.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Segun Adesegun, for coming to the morning show. We'll keep watching developments in Ogun State. We'll see how the APC resolves its internal conflicts. And we wish you all the best with your senatorial ambition and your candidate, Honorable Dapo Abiodun's gubernatorial bid. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your interest.
Thank you so much, sir. It was nice to have you here.
I'm so happy to be with you. Thank you.
It's time now for a short break. When we come back, award-winning actor Gideon Okeke will be joining us in the studios. Do stay with us.